This is Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye by my right and Prince IGBO on my left. I am Adeyinka Adetayo. Ethnic-driven attacks on Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye, aka Iyalode Adeyinka Bello, and other matters arising therefrom. Our attention is drawn to the vitriolic attacks on Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye, popularly known as Iyalode Adeyinka Bello, on the social media platform. A lecturer in the Lagos State University, whose recent comments on our Facebook page regarding our personal preferences have been trending to the extent of exciting intense ethnic backlash, and the Yoruba nation, as usual, is being dragged in the mud. We have become particularly concerned as we observe very accurately that all these comments are coming from the region of this country with a preponderance of persons fond of throwing darts at us, collectively and individually, while pretending to be exercising a false sense of nationalism. We are talking about a particular class of a new generation of Ibos people of the Southeast who have consistently demonstrated over the years an aggressive attitude of contempt, gaslighting, and harassment for the Yoruba race of people and things and institutions associated with the race. It would appear as though this class of acutely unruly people now constitutes the majority of the Igbo population worldwide. As we follow the trend, we find it most curious that the attacks on Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye has been intensely personal and calculated to bring her not only into public ridicule, but also to diminish her self-esteem and reduce her to an emotional and psychological wreck. It is a new trend of the cyberbullying of the Yoruba people. Why should anyone attack Dr. Olarinmoye for expressing her personal opinion on preferred marital choice for our children in the first place? This is the questions we are here to ask, and for which we shall demand answers. On Wednesday, 21st May 2025, Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye on her Facebook handle, Iyalode Adeyinka Bello, had made an innocuous remark in her reaction to a trending comment of David Adeleke, aka Davido, who declared his bloodline and presumed preference on his affinity with the Ibos through a bloodline. She has simply written, "I would ensure my kids marry Yoruba. I would ensure my kids marry Yoruba." She wished for her own children to marry from her own Yoruba stock, a statement rooted in a well-justified desire for her children to marry within their cultural heritage, which is a natural and self-preserving instinct shared by many parents and people globally. What on earth can be wrong with the above statements? It is a wish. It is logical. It makes perfect sense for a hard-working Yoruba woman who lives with her children in a badly structured country like Nigeria, which is running on a false constitutional federation, where several ethnicities are aiming to dominate one another. It should be noted that there are 300 distinctive ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. She mentioned her ethnic group of preference for future relationships that will involve our own children. But some members of the ethnic group, the class of people earlier described above in their usual display of ethnic arrogance, have been challenging our right to determine what's best for our children. This group of people have managed to find an offense in a simple statement. They went round and round until they twisted the original words of this lady, rephrased it, and obtain a kind of narration that aligns with their evil intentions, evil design. Dr. Olarinmoye's earlier comment was later reproduced by them as an Igbo man marrying my daughter cannot happen at all. An Igbo man marrying my daughters cannot happen at all. Remember, our comment was, I would ensure my kids marry Yoruba. I would ensure my kids marry Yoruba. But the new narrative is, an Igbo man marrying my daughters cannot happen at all, which is credited to her. Isn't this just mischievous? She never even wrote such a thing. Once rephrased, this particular false statement and a file photo of Dr. Olarinmoye was put together and sent to several news blogs, such as Linda Ikeji blog, Oriental, etc., to fuel a most vicious campaign which resulted in personal insults, abuses, and even threats of physical violence to inflict bodily harm on her. We obtained several samples of these sponsored publications, and even a cursory review revealed shockingly that practically all of the hateful commentaries came from characters who, very undoubtedly, are Ibos. They own and control all the blog sites as well. While it is easy to succumb to the temptation which commends passive indifference to the egregious provocation, holding same as the personal affairs of the affected person, we must address some of the issues raised in their various social media posts and blog sites, especially when it is so clear that these coordinated vilifications and threats have broader implications for the safety and well-being of our people. Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye will therefore not be left alone in this regard. We will rise at all times to defend the rights of our people to express themselves without let or hindrance in any form. We are acutely aware of the increasing expressions of hostility of the class of Igbo people who unfortunately are in the majority of the general Igbo population worldwide. People are not happy that a woman of her standing would dare to suggest a counter narrative which suggests a path to the redemption of a race under serious siege. Those who celebrate the constant denigration of our people as being lazy, cowardly, and lately uneducated, despite glaring evidence to the contrary, will stop at nothing to ensure that any flicker of illumination is stamped out. Marriage should be for mutual benefits for the two parties involved, unless if it equates to a parasitic relationship in the estimation of these elements. There should be no disagreements leading to attacks if a person declares her interest against any hypocritical interethnic marriage. It is a choice that we need to defend vehemently. They aim to and have repeatedly deployed the tactics of cyberbullying through mass media mob attacks to cancel out our dear Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye, perhaps for a consistently bold political stand against the Obidient Movement, which is their passion, and a consistent support for APC. They aim to run their calumnious campaigns to our employer in the sadistic hope of getting our appointment terminated with the school. What an evil mindset. We have also observed with keen attention and increasing alarm the gradual execution by these people of what can only be a Zionist agenda over Lagos State and Yoruba land in general through an ethnic-propelled held mentality by the same elements who are undoubtedly Ibos. We see the signposts of Zionism ideology all over Yoruba land. expressed in the gradual and systematic displacement of Yoruba people from their socio-economic and ancestral spaces from Yoruba land through intentional demographic alterations. We see it in the way they asserted themselves in our local politics. We see it in the steady corruption of our Yoruba bloodline through targeted marriage of their women with the cream of our elites and their children. We see it even in cultural matters, as they keep inserting their cultures to override our own, even on Yoruba land. We see as their cultural nuances and idiosyncrasies are steadily being promoted to occupy the minds of our impressionable youths and ignorant adults. This is an invasion of Yoruba land and nothing of brotherly cohabitation between us and these evil elements. We recall the several efforts and instances where these people have tried and many times succeeded to cancel out our bright minds in Yoruba land through the tactics of coordinated bullying, intimidation, and smear campaigns, especially in the course of their support for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in 2023. We saw their narcissistic attitude and approach in their passionate tribal support for Mr. Peter Obi while denigrating such Yoruba sons and daughters like Madam Joke Jacobs, Tony Abraham, Bella, Sheilo, Whiskey. Even in Lagos, Yoruba land, a Yoruba man was not entitled to freely support Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, but they are free to support whomever they wish for. People who are most often anti-Yoruba elements. It had to be Mr. Peter Obi and Mr. Chinedu Rosevival or nobody else for the Yoruba people. We recall the coordinated media and legal attacks on Governor Sanwo-Olu for suggesting that Yoruba language be brought into schools and other public places in Lagos State, for executing other responsibilities of efficient governance in Lagos State, such as demolition of illegal structures like the Land Park Gardens. And finally, we take judicious notice that this set of people rarely criticize political leaders of the Southeast. Not even criminals like Simon Ekpa who have suddenly assumed leadership positions amongst them, would they ever criticize? And definitely, they don't ever look up to the Hausa Fulani North to even briefly criticize anybody or anything they do in their region. It will then lead us to the conclusion that we are taken for granted in Yoruba land because of our hospitable nature and gentlemen embedded in the Omoluabi ethos ingrained in us as a culture which they are quite often mistaken for and described as weakness, complacency, and stupidity on our part. Well, we are not any of the above. We would like the world to be informed that we have taken adequate notice of these Zionist trends, and we will take steps to draw by all means the attention of the executive and legislative branches of the governments of Yoruba land, of Yoruba State, and all geographical locations where Yoruba people are domiciled in Nigeria, to put a stop to the trend, and at the same time, wake them up to their responsibility of empowering Yoruba people as an immunity against the Zionist scourge. May we use this occasion to express our strong condemnation of this act of cyberbullying of Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye coming from this direction of people who are mainly Ibos. And consequently, we sound a note of warning to all those who live under the illusion that Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye or any Yoruba man or woman for that matter may be bullied or attacked without consequences to perish the thought. Our response will be swift and far-reaching. We shall dispense with niceties which dictate civil engagement. We shall defend our interests by any means necessary. In any case, Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act 2015 and other relevant laws clearly criminalize cyberbullying and prescribe adequate penalties. Accordingly, as a law-abiding citizen, Dr. Adeyinka Olarinmoye has duly notified necessary security agencies of the threats on her and the matter of her personal safety. Our loyalty is first and foremost to Yoruba land. We think Yoruba first. Thank you.